students, how are you and how's your study going on? I hope that you all will be fine staying home and doing your study at your home. On the behalf of Paramount Public School, today we are going to discuss the summary of second chapter of book Hornbill named chapter We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together. So without wasting our time, let's come to our topic. Students, before going to summary, it is very necessary to know about some parts of a yacht because this type of yacht is used in the story. So look here student, this area is known as mainsail. This area is known as mast. That area is known as bow. Here the small rooms are made named cabin. Here the underground area which will cover head in the water is called rudder. Here is the above area from the rudder is known as stern, and that above area of stern is known as cockpit, and the area down the mainsail is known as boom. So students, try to understand these parts of a yacht. These will help you in the summary. So let's move to our summary. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together is written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. The story We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together is a story of extreme courage and skill exhibited by Gordon Cook, his family and crewmen in a war with water and waves for survival. Here students, crewman is a person or a group of persons which help in the sea voyage or in the aircraft. In July 1976, the narrator, his wife Mary, son Jonathan, who was only 6 years old, and daughter Suzanne, who was 7 years old, set sail from Plymouth, England, to duplicate the round the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. It means that they are going to do the world voyage. Here voyage means that the travel which is done by seaways. Captain James Cook was the first person who did the world voyage 200 years ago. Now the narrator of our story, Gordon Cook, and his family is going to duplicate the same thing again. They took a ship, the Wave Walker, accompanied by 2 experienced sailors, Larry Vigil, an American, and Herb Seisler, a Swiss, to tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean. Tackle means to get out or to run. The first part of the journey, that is about 1,05,000 kilometers up to Cape Town, passed off very pleasantly. On the second day out of Cape Town, they begin to encounter strong gales. Gales didn't worry the narrator, but the size of the waves was alarming up. It means they are going to be difficult for them, and gales means winds. On 25th December, the writer's ship was in southern Indian Ocean, 3,500 kilometers to the east of Cape Town. The family celebrated their new year on board of the ship. At dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. Gigantic means huge. Unfriendly weather and gigantic waves compelled the sailors to slow their speed and drop storm jib and take other precautions. The danger was so obvious that the sailors completed life raft drill, attached lifelines and life jackets. Suddenly, at 6 p.m., A tremendous explosion shook the wave walker and the author was thrown overboard. Board is the area where all the activities of the ship was yacht, all the activities on the yacht was done, and narrator was thrown from the board. The ship was about to capsize when another gigantic wave hit it, tossing it upright once again. Once the author was thrown into the water by a big wave, now again he was thrown by a big wave up to the once again on the wave walker. The author was thrown back onto the deck and his head and ribs smashing against the walls. In spite of his injuries, the narrator took charge of the situation. They were in the bad situation right now. That's why this was happening. The gales were very strong and they have to follow number of precautions. Somehow he found the wheel, lined up the stern for the next wave, and hang on till Mary appeared and took charge of the wheel. Now Larry and Herb started pumping out water like madmen. Larry and Herb were their crewmen whom they had hired. The whole starboard side bulged inwards. The narrator managed to cover canvas across the gaps to prevent water from entering the ship. Then came more problems. Their hand pumps stopped working because of dust and electrical pumps short circuit. Fortunately, the narrator found a spare electric pump under the chart room that worked. The entire night was spent in pumping, steering, repairing and sending radio signals. The narrator checked charts and calculated that Isle Amsterdam, a French scientific base, was their only hope. Now they had searched an island named Isle Amsterdam. It is a French scientific base. That is their only hope. Sue and John were injured in this process, but they said that they were not afraid to die if they could all be together. Especially Sue's head was swollen and she had a deep injury. The narrator became more determined, seeing his children's courage. Finally, they reached Isle Amsterdam, a volcanic island where they were welcomed by 28 inhabitants. Thus, the collective strength and never failing optimism gave extra strength and persistence to the narrator and his team. The bravery of the strong willed children is noteworthy in the story. So, now came to the conclusion. To sum up, we can see the collective power of unity and the never failing confidence of the sailors made it possible for them to survive and come out from the jaws of death. Here for your consideration student, I have taken words of vocabulary, crewman. I will send you in the PDF. So remember, and these words will help you to understanding the story very well. Thanks for watching.